What's the best way to iterate over the items in a HashMap? Iterate through the entry set. Like so. Read more about map. If you're only interested in the keys, you can iterate through the key set of the map. If you only need the values, use values. Finally, if you want both the key and value, use entry set. One caveat: if you want to remove items mid-iteration, you'll need to do so via an iterator. See Kareem79's answer. However, changing item values is okay. See map.entry. Extracted from the reference How to Iterate Over a Map in Java. There are several ways of iterating over a map in Java. Let's go over the most common methods and review their advantages and disadvantages. Since all maps in Java implement the map interface, the following techniques will work for any map implementation: HashMap, tree map, linked HashMap, hash table, etc. Method number 1. Iterating over entries using a for each loop. This is the most common method and is preferable in most cases. It should be used if you need both map keys and values in the loop. Note that the for each loop was introduced in Java 5. So this method is working only in newer versions of the language. Also, a for each loop will throw null pointer exception if you try to iterate over a map that is null. So before iterating you should always check for null references. Method number 2. Iterating over keys or values using a for each loop. If you need only keys or values from the map, you can iterate over key set or values instead of entry set. This method gives a slight performance advantage over entry set iteration, about 10% faster, and is more clean. Method number 3. Iterating using iterator. Using generics. Without generics, you can also use same technique to iterate over key set or values. This method might look redundant, but it has its own advantages. First of all, it is the only way to iterate over a map in older versions of Java. The other important feature is that it is the only method that allows you to remove entries from the map during iteration by calling iterator.remove. If you try to do this during for each iteration, you will get unpredictable results according to Javadoc. From a performance point of view, this method is equal to a for each iteration. Method number 4. Iterating over keys and searching for values inefficient. This might look like a cleaner alternative for method number 1. But in practice it is pretty slow and inefficient, as getting values by a key might be time consuming. This method in different map implementations is 20%-200% slower than method number 1. If you have find bugs installed, it will detect this and warn you about inefficient iteration. This method should be avoided. Conclusion: if you need only keys or values from the map, use method number 2. If you are stuck with older version of Java less than 5 or planning to remove entries during iteration, you have to use method number 3. Otherwise use method number 1. You can iterate through the entries in a map in several ways. Get each key and value like this. Or you can get the list of keys with. If you just want to get all of the values and aren't concerned with the keys, you can use smarter. Depends. If you know you're going to need both the key and the value of every entry, then go through the entry set. If you just need the values, then there's the values method. And if you just need the keys, then use key set. A bad practice would be to iterate through all of the keys, and then within the loop, always do map.get to get the value. If you're doing that, then the first option I wrote is for you.